Hey friends, welcome back to another weekly update, week number 41 in the series of weekly updates here on Trade Stock. Excited to have you back with us. Happy Friday, or happy any day you're listening to this. Hope you're having a good one. Hey, our weekly update is powered by Cress Commercial Equipment. Super excited for this partnership and what we've done with it. I keep being amazed every week. This week I was down in San Luis Obispo and we rolled out Cress equipment to about 15 of our brand new team members who've been maintaining properties and communities in San Luis Obispo with gas-powered equipment for years, decades in some cases. And the transition to electric has been a little bit rough for them, but here we are 3 weeks in, and it's been really an incredible sight to see. Started off with a lot of resistance, a lot of challenges, frustration, too many battery changes, et cetera, et cetera. And here we are looking back, and I was down there this week getting some feedback, and everyone's, for the most part, come around to saying, yes, the electric equipment is better. Hearing that from teams who have been using gas-powered equipment for decades, their entire career, is pretty empowering. It means that the equipment we're dispatching and deploying into the field is actually having a commercial level adoption. Big shout out to Cress. They are our all-in partner. The main reason behind that is we wanted to go all in with one brand. We picked Cress. I got to tell you guys, I'm very, very happy with that because the platform that we're building on with Cress is going to lead us into the autonomous robotics age faster than anything else. And that's a great segue into the keynote from Jensen Huang of NVIDIA. So this week, NVIDIA had their big GTC conference. I think that's what it's called, GTC. And it's amazing. They had 400 companies sponsor this event. Every AI company you could think of, and probably many that you had no idea that existed, were at this event. And the big takeaways from Jensen is that agents are the new workers. This is something that people have been talking about, and really, I think people have gotten this a bit wrong. They keep saying that like AI is going to take jobs and agents are going to do this, and here we go. And they've been saying that for maybe a good year or two. Well, we're actually seeing it happen. We're seeing it where the agentic system and AI platform is actually being built so it can do things without being prompted. So imagine a customer calling in and requesting a job, and an AI answering that phone call and pricing that job and sending them a quote completely without a human being involved. It's a scary thought, right? Well, it's happening in many businesses today, and it's coming to the landscape industry. Now imagine that customer approves the bid, that AI then schedules the crew and dispatches the crew. The crew shows up, meets the client. That's the first human interaction the client had, does the work, completes the work, clicks complete in the system, and the same AI agent, maybe a different trained agent, then basically invoices the customer, collects the customer data as far as how'd it go, was it good, was it bad, any feedback, and finalizes the work. And then checks back in with them in a couple months to make sure everything's going good, to see if they maybe need some more work done. This workflow is happening in businesses today, and it's only going to accelerate into our industry. Now, I know what you're thinking. There's no way an AI is going to be able to price my work the way I do. And you're probably right today, but things are changing so fast that in the future, this is a very, very real situation. So Jensen kind of talks about that as far as over the next 24 to 36 months, the back office of almost every single business is going to be automated to a very high degree utilizing an AI workforce. Those who embrace AI workforce, build out the workforce, and deploy it fastest at the highest level of accuracy and efficiency and efficacy are going to win in their specific division. Of course, this is just him talking about the industry or the world in general, not necessarily the trades industry, but I do think all this is very applicable. He also says every industrial company will become a robotics company, meaning that every company that has some level of industrial production, manufacturing, or service, and I'm going to put the trades kind of like in the gray area here, is going to become a robotics company. And we're already seeing this. I tour some plants here in the Salinas Valley that produce lettuce or that produce other agricultural products, and they are using a lot of robotic machines to sort, to manage, to do things. And it's really interesting. If you guys want to check out something, go to Reservoir Farms. Just type that into Google. They're a startup out of Salinas led by Danny Bernstein, and they had their grand opening on Monday, which we were at. And they have 12 ag tech startups that are focused around robotics in their incubator here in the Salinas Valley. Really cool place where you're seeing ag and you're seeing tech come together. And I thought this was interesting. At this grand opening, there's 300-400 people there. And I see an old rancher walking through with like the flannel, the hat, the jeans and the boots, like typical, rancher. He's probably like in his 70s. And then I see a 22-year-old with Vans, like chinos and a Star Wars shirt on. And I just had to laugh because these two people are now in the same industry. And they both feel very uncomfortable about the other person, but together they're building something that's really amazing. And ag tech and robotics and what's happening in industrial and now into the landscape industry is a really exciting thing. And I am going to make a bit of a prediction. I think in 5 years, every single crew is going to have the opportunity to optimize with a robotic coworker. How many people will actually deploy and utilize robotics? That's yet to be decided. That percentage of adoption is an unknown number. But I will say, I do believe there will be a robot in use, or at least an ability to be used on every single landscape crew out there, including installation and maintenance and service. What will the robots do? Yet to be decided outside of lawn care. But I do see them blowing. I see them cleaning, picking up after people, going behind the human who's doing all the hedge pruning and trimming and picking up all the waste. Doing some weeding, maybe spreading some mulch and cleaning some areas out, potentially excavating and digging into irrigation issues. So really exciting to see where these robots go. But I will say, if you're not looking at this, you're probably not missing anything today. But over the next 3 to 5 years, I do think robots are going to end up being a big part of our industry. Scary thing to think about. The other thing Jensen said is the flywheel belongs to whoever builds the platform first. Really interesting thing here. These flywheels that Jim Collins talked about in his book, Good to Great, the flywheel effect is in full force here in the AI and tech world. We're seeing people who are starting these flywheels from scratch. So let's just use autonomous mowers. There's a few pioneers 10, 15 years ago who started to test out and move the flywheel very slowly in autonomous mowing. And then as it started to pick up speed, more and more people joined the platform of autonomous mowing, and that flywheel started to pick up. Those who build the flywheel will ultimately own the platform. So if you're thinking about starting something and you're thinking about a startup or something like that in a new industry or a new sector, now is a great time to start. The other thing that I'll hit is the companies that govern their data will capture the gains later. So you may not realize how valuable the data is, but here's a good example. So YouTube is basically starting to take machine learning and take it to a whole new level with Gemini and what they're doing at Google. It's really incredible. So one of the things here is if you have a ton of data about how your team operates, how many acres they mow every day and how many hours they spend and exactly the activities that happen day in and day out. That is going to be extremely valuable in the future as you start to train your AI or robotic workforce. This data component is going to become like gold in the future. And we all have heard that, protect your data and own your data and all this stuff, but I do think as we look into the future, it's only going to get more extreme as AI and robotics start to take over. So if you guys are feeling like you're falling behind a little bit, don't stress too much on that, because as long as you're taking actions every day or every week, even if it's the smallest action like tuning into this podcast, you are on the leading edge. So I just want to say that because I know sometimes these weekly updates can make it feel like everyone's doing all this stuff and man, why is my team not doing this? The truth is things are happening quickly, but they're not happening overnight. This is going to be one of those things that's going to be like, it's going to be 10 years and then all of a sudden everything's going to be changed. Just make sure you're making progress every week and ideally just a tiny little step every single day. Right now, the best thing you could be doing is educating yourself. And if you're listening to this, that's exactly what you're doing. The other thing I wanted to share this week, kind of getting away from the technology side, is town hall meetings that we've been doing in K&D. We started these in 2026 and I've really enjoyed them. Every month I bring my management team together for a town hall, just what's going on in the business, and it's really more of an opportunity for everybody to ask questions. I set up a Q&A the day of. Everyone can ask questions anonymously if they'd like about the business. Hey, where are we going? What's the plan with Slow? What's our geographic expansion strategy? What are the biggest opportunities in the company over the next 3 to 5 years? What's this? What's that? Hey, when is the Wi-Fi going to get better? Because the Wi-Fi has been a little bit shitty at our office lately. Stuff like that. So it's just a chance for everyone to get on the same page. We get about 35 people in the room, and we just kind of go through everything. And then that team will take that information and then just kind of like translate that down into the rest of the organization and the production team. Every month we get the entire company together as much as possible for a little bit of an activity. We have pizza or tacos or something, but the town halls is really the area where the most knowledge lies and the most opportunity to align the team lies. So no matter how big or small your team is, if you aren't doing monthly town halls, I'd really encourage it. And if you guys want the agenda, it's pretty simple. First off, as the CEO it's pretty much the CEO or president, whoever's in charge of the company, this is your job to run this meeting. Don't like put it off to someone else. Like, you should be putting the agenda together and presenting the agenda, no one else. It starts off with a bit of an update. Hey, here's what's happened in the last month. Are we on track or off track for our goals? Financially, from a hiring perspective, from a growth perspective and sales perspective, from a profitability perspective, from a bonus perspective, are we on track or off track? This is an area that I've struggled with a little bit in the last few town halls. And going into April, I feel a lot better about this like CEO update. I'm trying to dial this in. And then the second half of that is just questions from the team. They can ask questions live. They can put it into a bit of a survey ahead of time. Highly recommend this, by the way. Some people may not be comfortable asking certain questions in front of the whole group. So having a platform where they can ask questions ahead of time is a great way to get the most feedback and make sure that you're removing as many roadblocks and gray areas as possible as you grow your company. So that's something that we're doing. I really enjoy it. It's fun. I think it's something that most, if not all, companies should do. One of the other things that I think is really fun and something that I recommend is this idea of building in public. So I'm stealing this a little bit from Jensen and the NVIDIA keynote he gave, but the idea is building in public is like, share your ideas, share your vision, share your plan, share your strategies, share the nitty-gritty details, share the losses, share as much as you feel comfortable sharing, and then share a little more. Now, don't disclose confidential information about employees or clients, right? Like, don't do that. That's not what I'm saying. But why not share your thesis and philosophy on how you see the industry? Why not share what your vision is for your company? There may be someone out there across the world in a different state, working at a different company that aligns so closely with your vision, the way you see things, your philosophy, that they want to join your mission. And they would never find you if you don't share what your mission is. So I think most companies, especially in the landscape industry, tend to hide and hold tight their data, their information, their strategy, their goals, and their vision. I obviously haven't done that. Here we are, weekly update. I pretty much tell you guys everything that's going on inside of K&D. And I think that's really interesting. I think that the more you share, the more you gain. So that's a little bit of my just encouragement for you guys. No matter what your position is in the company, I think networking and sharing ideas and strategies and vision is really important. And maybe you should start with your own company and your own team. I've noticed that many people on our team actually don't have a total clear lens into what our plan is for the next 3 to 5 years. So that's on my mission, on my to-do list, to work through that with every single person on my team so everyone's crystal clear, including myself. Because I think probably the biggest reason why you haven't shared your vision or strategy with the world is you don't even know what it is. So if you don't know what it is, well, we need to start there. That's foundational step number 1. But ultimately, once you do know what it is and you know where you're going, share it with your team, then share it with your friends, then share it with the world, in that order. All right, guys, this has been another weekly update. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you didn't catch the episode this week with Brian Fullerton, definitely tune into that. Week before with Richard Sperber, definitely tune into that one. 2 absolute bangers of shows and guests back to back. I'm super proud of that and just excited to have these amazing people on the show. So thank you guys, Brian, Richard, thank you for coming on the show. We got some amazing guests coming in. So stay tuned for next week. We got a big guest that's going to be dropping in and more names coming down the pipe. So until then, see you guys and have a great day.
Thanks for tuning in to Trades Talk, where the next generation of disruptors comes to raise the bar. If you got value from today's episode, share it with someone in the trades who's ready to level up. For more tools, insights, and community, follow host Justin White and join the movement at jwhitegroup.com.